Chapter 4. Kiara.
Look, I am established with a career, a 790 credit score, no children, and a banging body that supermodels would beg for. All of these things going for me, I should be dating a stockbroker or a doctor, but instead I fell in love with DeWayne Sharif Coleman 5 years ago. Since then, I haven't been able to shake him. When I try to leave, he keeps pestering me, showing up in my office, my home. It was like a trap, and like an idiot, I let him stay and roll back into my life. Maybe it was the dick, or that he sucked my pussy so good that he made me bust all over his face. But whatever the reason, I couldn't leave DeWayne Coleman alone. Here I was, an educated woman who sat in courtrooms deciding million-dollar cases all day, and I was still chasing hood rats away from my man and dealing with his lame issues. From the kids to the hoes and the lies, I still allowed him to stay around, and of course no one could understand why. To be honest, I didn't know myself, or maybe stupidity, but DeWayne had me wrapped around his finger. My day started out by waking up to a cold bed. Again, DeWayne said he was coming home, but that was yet another lie. And then I went to the shop to confront him, only to find him hugged up with some braider bitch. I was pissed, ready to throw his ring back in his face, but instead I slapped his ass and went to work. I worked for one of the most prestigious law firms in the city, Puzzler, Thomas, and Brown, where I was trying my damnedest to make junior partner. If I wasn't at work, I was at home thinking and reading up for work. This job outside of DeWayne was my life, and it took me by surprise that he had a lame excuse for why he couldn't come with me tonight to see about our future. The shop, DeWayne's car, and most of his clothes were financed by me and my job. I'm the type of person to put the money where my mouth is, and if I believe in you, I will put everything I have behind my man to bring him up to my standards. When I met DeWayne, he was struggling in barber school and living in his mother's basement. He didn't even own a suit, let alone a sports jacket and a pair of loafers. Now the man had a thriving business thanks to me, a closet full of clothes, a passport, and an investment portfolio. But what he lacked truly was focus. It was my fault. I showed him too much too quickly, and now he didn't know how to keep his dick out of these skeezers and his mind on our empire. I thought about all of that now as I drove across town. I was racing to a business meeting where I was supposed to be attended with DeWayne, but instead, I was calling him on the phone to see where he was. After what I just found out, I wish I could go to him and slap him in the face again, but I was running late. Over the hands-free system in my BMW, I called the man that was supposed to be my fiancé and asked him a question about our credit card bill.
Hello?
He answered like he was still upset, but it was me that had the right to be mad. What did you buy on our credit card for $8,000? I got right to the point, driving with one hand, holding the bill with the other, and trying not to smash into cars as I sped down the highway.
8,000?
He tried playing dumb.
I ain't buy shit for $8,000.
He and I were the only two people in the world with cards for this account. It was bad when I had to play lawyer with my fucking fiance. DeWayne Coleman, what did you purchase from Zephyr Jewelry Store for $8,000? The phone was silent for a moment.
Oh, from Zephyr? That's the ring, your engagement ring.
I looked down at my left hand. The ring that shined bright, that I was so excited to get, now felt like fire on my finger. So you mean to tell me I'm paying for my own fucking engagement ring? I felt like jumping through the phone and killing him.
Babe, come on now. You know I'm gonna give you that money back. But they had the ring and I didn't want to let it go.
What the fuck do you mean you will pay me back, DeWayne? You can't pay me back later for this. This is an American Express. I have to pay this bill off every month. He sounded like such a fucking idiot. I had to watch my credit meticulously around him, just for this reason.
Oh, well, shit. I thought it was one of those 1 year, no interest joints, you know. I figured I could pay that off in a year. Shit.
He laughed, but shit wasn't funny to me. If I knew I was gonna buy my own engagement ring, I would have just proposed to myself. It would have been a lot cheaper that way. DeWayne, you are such a fuck up when it comes to money. I merged off the highway, tossing the credit card bill in the back seat. It disgusted me to even look at it right now, knowing that I would have to pay a huge $8,000 bill that I wasn't even anticipating. I had the money, but DeWayne spent so much on the shop as if I was made of money. I was tired of spending money.
Oh, baby, don't be like that.
He laughed a bit, like this was $8 and not $8,000.
You know we make way more than that.
Correction. I make way more than that. What you pull in from the shop goes on you, your child support, and whatever bitch you're fucking for the night. He stopped laughing when I said that, and everything I was telling him was the truth. I would have cried if I had time, but up ahead was the Grand Laurie Hotel, my destination for tonight's dinner.
I told you, I don't want or need your money.
But you never refuse it.
Whatever, man. Is that all you wanted?
Now he wanted to get off the phone when I was speaking the truth. Are you 100% not joining me for dinner with Mr. Puzder? I had to make sure as I pulled into the valet line in front of the hotel.
I told you, man, I got the fucking game tonight. I can't do it.
Fine, DeWayne. Tell your baby mama I said hi, okay? I hung up on his ass, just in time as the valet attendant, clad in a red jacket and black slacks, came to open my door. Thank you. I passed him a couple of dollars and headed inside to search for my boss, Mr. Chris Puzder. He was a senior partner and one of the people that would be voting in a couple of days on whether I would be partner or not. I calmed down, breathing deep and following the signs for the Met restaurant that was in the far corner of the hotel. Seeing Mr. Puzder, I smiled and acted as if nothing was wrong, pulling all of my issues and problems with DeWayne aside. This was business, and to nail my goals, I had to be on top of my game for this meeting. Mr. Puzder, so sorry I'm late. He stood and I shook his hand and took my seat. No problem. Just nursing this vodka tonic. He smiled, his chiseled white teeth against his brown skin. I felt proud to be sitting across from the man that had been through so many obstacles to become senior partner. As a black man in any law firm was a definite miracle. But now his name is the first in line of partners for our firm. And when he said he wanted to sit down and speak to me, a prospective partner, I cleared my schedule to sit down and speak with him. Would you like something to drink, miss? The waiter was at the table within seconds. Yeah, I'll have a glass of Riesling, please. I smiled, unbuttoning my blazer and taking a full breath. How is the Smithstone case coming along? He got right down to business, asking me about one of the biggest cases I was overseeing. The jury is in deliberation and we're hoping to hear a decision tomorrow. Good. I know you have it in the bag. That would be a huge settlement to add to the firm's record. Everything was about winning percentages and how many cases have you tried and how many have you won. For me, my win column far out exceeded my losses, and that was why I had this opportunity. Yes, sir, it will. As soon as I make partner, I would love to continue to win even bigger cases for the firm. I had my eye on this prize from way back in law school when I completed an internship with Mr. Puzder. Mr. Puzder took an eye to me then, taking me under his wing and giving me different material to read and absorb. Most of that was why I was such a good attorney today. The waiter returned with my glass of wine, and I sipped it, paying attention to Mr. Puzder's every word. Well, the partnership voting is the reason why I called you here. You see, there are quite a few qualified attorneys up this year for vote, but the board definitely has its eye on you. I was glad to hear that. I worked my ass off and did all the right things to be at this moment. Thank you, sir. I appreciate you being so candid with me. He didn't have to tell me any of this, so I was grateful. I felt like two black people sticking together in the firm was exactly what was needed so we could pull more young attorneys up. Well, I'm glad you respect me being candid. He guzzled down the rest of his drink, looking directly in my eyes. You see, I'm willing to vote for you and persuade a few of the other members as well, but I would need you to do something for me. I smiled at that. I was willing to help Mr. Puzd out in any way I could. A few times I took on extra cases or handled a few briefs for his personal clients for free just to be helpful. Sure, sir, anything I can do to help. Placing his glass down, he reached into his jacket pocket and pulled out a card of some sort and slid it across the table. Upon further examination, I saw it wasn't just a card, but a key, a room key. This is for my suite, room 1122. It's the presidential. He bragged on his room selection, but I wasn't understanding where this was going. What's in your room, sir? He smiled, signaling for the waiter to bring the check. Well, you see, Miss Lawrence, this industry is all about nepotism. It's who you know and who is willing to help you out. I felt like my heart was in my shoes now. As I glanced back and forth from him to the key, I finally figured out why he cared so much about me, why he took me under his wing in the first place. There are quite a few people, as I told you, that would love to be partner, but we only have space for two. I swallowed as he scratched his chin with his left hand, his wedding band shining right in my face. But I am the most qualified. My win percentage? Damn your win percentage, sweetie. I need more than a fucking win percentage to place a vote for you. He pushed the key closer to my side of the table. You come up to my suite and fully persuade me, or I can go along with another candidate that is willing. No harm, no foul. He shrugged it off as the waiter brought the check. And if I don't? Well, there's always next year. I felt my head start to pound with an incoming headache. Mr. Puzder was attractive for an older man. His salt and pepper goatee was striking, but I never considered sex with him. I always wanted to be taken seriously in this industry and not like some whore lying on her back. Next year, there will be twice as many candidates. Every other year, the firm alternated between 2 seats for partner and then back to 1. This was a 2-year, which was my best chance in getting in. Well, my dear, this is true, so it seems you have a decision to make. He licked his lips at me, his eyes dipping down my blouse, and for the first time, I noticed all the little creepy things about him, and I felt so dirty. Like a pig wallowing in mud and shit as he kept eye contact with me. He pulled out a stack of money from his breast pocket and threw a few bills on the table without even bothering to look at them. It's your choice, dear. Do what you think is best. No hard feelings, okay? With that, the man that I thought was my mentor strolled out of the restaurant, leaving me at the table thinking hard about what the hell to do. I grabbed my phone. When I couldn't see him anymore, I dialed DeWayne, but 5 rings later, the phone went to voicemail. I needed to hear my man's voice, have him tell me they will be all right, but instead I got sent to voicemail like some discarded hoe. DeWayne Coleman of Cutting Edge Barbershop. I swallowed down the Riesling in seconds as the waiter returned to grab the bill. I made a request. Get me a vodka double on the rocks, please, and put it on room 1122. He nodded and was gone. If I was going to do this, I needed as much liquor in my system as possible, and fast. I had 2 choices here. Be a bum attorney or be a wealthy partner with 1 night of indiscretion that I would never have to think about again. The choice was simple, and as the waiter came back with my vodka double, I chugged it like I was back in college. The good thing was I was already horny, my pussy throbbing from being pissed off at DeWayne. Now all I had to do was imagine that Mr. Puzder was actually somebody I wanted to have sex with. Standing up on wobbly legs, I grabbed the hotel key and made my way to the elevators. Inside, I swiped the room key and pressed the 11th floor. Feeling the heat of the vodka coursing through my veins with every floor we climbed and my courage rising just like the elevator. I had no mother, no father, no sisters or brothers to depend on. I worked my ass off through law school so I could live a life where I would never have to ask anyone for shit, because in essence there was no one to ask. Now stepping off the elevator, I walked a few steps to get to room 1122. The only thing that was standing in my way of huge wealth was an old man that wanted a small taste of me just to make a vote. That was nothing compared to the shit that I had been through coming up, and if this is what it took, then so be it. I was just about to slide the key into the door when my phone rang. I scrambled, grabbing my purse to silence it, only to see DeWayne's name on the screen. Too late now, baby. I whispered, rejecting his call and turning my phone off. I had already made up my mind. I was gonna make partner or die, and I wasn't dying anytime soon. Sliding the key into the door and twisting the knob, I had settled this. Kiara Lawrence was a winner, and winners did what they had to do by any means necessary.